Wait. So you only eat raw food? Huh. Like, what do you eat? Oh, fresh, raw, delicious fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds? Man, that must be a grind. That must be really hard. Oh, it's not? It's delicious and you feel great? Whoa. I couldn't do that, man. I couldn't do that. This is the reaction that I always get when I tell people that, yeah, I'm a raw foodist. All the food that I eat is comprised of raw fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. People seem bewildered by that, and sometimes I just keep it to myself. But to be honest, we need to speak openly about the benefits and the how amazing you feel when you eat raw foods. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how I navigate telling people that yes, I am a raw vegan. So let's go. What's up, Raw Rebels? Blake here, welcome back. I get it all the time. People are just shocked that I eat only raw food. Oftentimes they don't even know that that's even a thing, that people eat only raw food. They never cook their food. And in fact, there's even fruitarians that eat primarily fruit. I'm kind of leaning towards that category myself. And of course, you have even the more extreme people, liquidarians, and even people that claim to be breatharians. Now, as you read through some of the content regarding natural hygiene and the raw food lifestyle, you're going to come across historical accounts of people that have eaten this exact same way, a very simple raw diet, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, and they have amazing health, amazing vitality, and live to be really old. In some of the cases that I've read in, for example, Man's Higher Consciousness by Hilton Hotima, he talks about people living well past 200 years old. And these are like documented factual accounts. So why is it so like shocking to people that, yeah, there are people who are still eating this way and still getting those same exact benefits as have been documented throughout history? Well, let's just start out with the food pyramid, shall we? The food pyramid has completely brainwashed people into thinking they need to eat dairy, meat, and cooked grains and legumes. This is just simply not true. And depending on the quality of those categories of food, that could be the worst thing that you could possibly do for yourself. Now, the limits of this channel and how deep I'm going to go down the rabbit hole here is about right there. We're just going to say that information in the food pyramid may not be the best idea to follow. And the whole reason behind why that is and who came up with it and all that stuff. Yeah, there's a whole knowledge behind that I have delved into. It's very interesting stuff, and you can look at other people who talk about it. John Rose talks about it. I think even Eli Martyr talks about it, because it's an inevitability where you start to learn more about this way of life, and then you apply these practices to your own life. For example, myself, having been really healthy for 2+ decades, thinking that I had everything figured out and that I could just continue to do what I always do and get the same results, which were results that I'm happy with. But I'm always striving for more on my journey. I'm always wanting to get to that next level. And so I came into fasting, and then fasting led me into raw foods and juicing. And it's like, so it's basically, in my opinion, a moot point to really talk about all the conspiratorial stuff behind, why the mass public is brainwashed, if I may use that term, to think that they need to eat cooked food, they need to eat animal products. Okay, that's simply not true, and it's also probably the worst thing that you can do for your long-term health. And if you want to learn more about this, I would binge watch, like I said, Eli Martyr, the Free Melon Society, John Rose. I would binge watch Robert Morse, and read all the books that you can about natural hygiene. Arnold Ehret, Herbert Shelton, Hilton Hotima are kind of like the big three, in my opinion. There's so many more, and we'll get into that more as this channel grows. So what I do now when I tell people that, yeah, I'm a raw foodist, is I stand firm in that. I'm beyond caring what people think of me and how people take me, because I consider myself a very accepting, open, and non-dogmatic person. And let me say that again, a non-dogmatic person. Even though that I think that my way of life and my way that I feed myself is the most optimum way for humans, I don't judge people whatsoever if they are still consuming cooked food and animal products. So if I'm going to tell somebody that, yeah, I'm a raw foodist, yep, I only eat raw foods, very, very rarely will I have a piece of cooked food. I feel great. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. And in fact, my health has improved, my vitality has improved. And there is a whole science called natural hygiene. And there have been pioneers along the way since the onset of natural hygiene, which was in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Up until now, things have changed. Things have changed with the toxicity of our environment and so forth. So this field has been evolving kind of in the background this entire time. And yeah, so this natural hygienic science shows us that you can live long, have vitality until you pass. And that could be well into your hundreds and beyond. The sky's the limit, especially when you combine this with newer technologies and newer sciences that are coming out. And if people want to take that as like, whoa, like that's like how I would take it, let's say, whoa, that's really cool. Like, I respect that. I'm curious, like, what specifically do you eat? Or like, how do you like get enough protein, like the video from yesterday, how's your energy levels? How's your performance in the gym? Like, what was that transition like? I would just be so curious to hear about that. Like, when people tell me that they're on keto, I have done the keto diet on 2 separate occasions, one for about 3 or 4 months, another for about 11 months. And I've learned so much, and I'm still curious to hear what people's experiences on the keto diet, even though I don't recommend it. Same with carnivore, same with paleo, same with just straight up vegan, where they're eating cooked foods as well. Even the sad standard American diet, I'm curious to understand how people eat. And again, I'm not dogmatic or closed off or judgmental of anybody's style of eating. So it's actually a great way to weed people out. Sorry, not sorry. If I'm going to say that to somebody and they're going to be like, yeah, well, food is just such a huge part of my life. I just really like to cook food and then, get gratification when I feed people the food that I make. And look, I get that, but if that means you are not interested in talking to me, then thank you. Thank you for saving me more time and energy investing into you. So I come to find out later that you're going to think a certain way about me because I'm a raw foodist. Okay. And so I've basically grown thick skin. I don't really care anymore. And just to give this a more 10,000 foot view, a more broad view, this is a lifestyle. You have to remember, guys, I've been in the health and fitness realm for 2+ decades. I've been certified as a personal trainer since 2010, so 15 years. And I now just feel like I'm starting to really understand how the body works, how nutrition works, now that I have adopted the raw food lifestyle and become a raw foodist. But that's just the beginning. When you go down this trail, when you embark upon your raw food journey, you're going to learn about the importance of the quality of the air that you breathe, the quality of the water that you drink, the importance of getting enough sleep, the importance of going outside and getting sun exposure. And with that comes walking barefoot and grounding. A lot of these things you guys may have heard about and you may have dabbled about. And it seems kind of crazy that there hasn't been a system that's been put together that combines all of these things in one system. Oh, wait, there has. It's called natural hygiene. It's just that this world doesn't get a whole lot of press because, let's face it, guys, most people aren't going to want to give up their cookies and their whatever they like, lasagna, I don't know, chicken, burgers and fries, sodas, okay? But there's no feeling of lack whatsoever. Remember, we want to eat to live. We don't want to live to eat, all right? The number one biggest addiction that I've discovered that I have after overcoming, alcohol, cannabis, and other sorts of addictions in my life is food. And I learned that when I started fasting. I'm like, wait, I shouldn't be so jittery. I shouldn't be so jonesing for some food right now. That taught me a lot about myself. And that's why I don't judge anybody if they may say this way of life. And yes, like I said before, sometimes I don't want to bring it up, but more and more and more as my skin is becoming thicker and as I'm becoming more confident in myself and in this way of life, I feel more apt to share my lifestyle with people. And hopefully, maybe if I share it with 100 people, maybe a couple people will really be interested and they'll learn about it. And so that's what makes it worth it for me. So thank you guys so much for listening to how I navigate this realm of sharing that, yes, I'm a raw foodist and that's what I do. I know that you guys are going to come across similar sort of situations. It's just inevitable. Just treat people with kindness. Don't be dogmatic or judgmental if they are not a raw foodist as well. But at the same time, if you're feeling some negative vibes off of them, stand firm and don't be afraid to just let those people go and walk their path as you are going to walk your path. So let me know if you've had any circumstances like this in the comments below. Go ahead and punch that like button. Subscribe if you're not already. And if you want to work with me directly, you get a free consult. You can book one-on-one coaching with me or join the Raw Boot Camp. More information on that is below via the link to rawfood.lifestyle. And you can also grab my free grocery list, which has everything that I currently consume. And that way you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So once again, thank you so much. And until next time, guys, I will talk soon.